It is restock time here at the facility. This morning I had to restock the sugar scrubs. They are sitting over on the side waiting for tomorrow. You'll see that video. This one is going to be my body butter. I need to make some rice flour and shea, white ginger and amber, and cocoa butter cashmere. In here I've got my water and some calendula petals. We are going to go ahead and weigh this entire vessel and write that number down because we are going to lose a lot of this water due to evaporation, and we need to add that back in the end. So I'm going to jot this number down. All right, I'm gonna go and put this on the stove, bring this to a low boil, take it off the heat, and then let this steep for about 10 minutes. While we are waiting for that water and the calendula petals to steep, we're gonna go ahead and start adding all of our oil portion into this huge container. We're gonna put this in an even bigger water bath to start melting everything down. So we're going to be putting in emulsifying wax NF, stearic acid, cocoa butter, because this is a body butter after all, shea butter. In the bottom, that before I even started to add anything in there, I put my BHT. That is mixed in with your oil phase. Okay, next we're going to be putting in jojoba oil. Yeah, I just about sold out of all of my body butters during our first show last Sunday. So I'm in desperate need. And lastly, we're going to be putting in the vitamin E. Okay, we're gonna go put this in a bigger vessel in a water bath while that other water is steeping, and we'll be back in a second.
A few moments later.
And we're back. Okay, I went ahead and strained this through a cheesecloth and a fine mesh strainer. This is our water portion. I forgot to tell you guys also before, I also put tetrasodium in my water portion. So there's tetrasodium in the water and there's BHT in the oil portion. The BHT helps to stave off rancidity of your oils, helps to, balance them out a little bit more. The tetrasodium is a chelator for hard water. It also helps to boost the efficacy of your preservative. Okay, that being said, while those two things were doing their lovely thing, I went ahead off camera and dissolved the xanthan gum in our glycerin. Now that that is all dissolved, we're going to go ahead and hydrate that by adding it into our water portion. I absolutely adore xanthan gum. I use it in a lot of products. The scrub video that I just made this morning, I'm doing a comparison between two different formulas. I always use xanthan gum, but I tried somebody else's formula. I'm not going to get into that right now because that's in that other video. But this is my preference to use the xanthan gum in body butters, in sugar scrubs. In my sugar scrub and in that other video, you'll see when it comes out that it does have a really, really nice tree hut consistency to it. And it adds just a little extra something to the body butters. It gives it just a little bit more body, a little bit more spreadability. My customers adore that. So that is why I use xanthan gum as part of my thickener. You can use it in lotions. I've done that too. It's not an emulsifier. It's not going to keep your waters and your oils together. It's a thickener. And I can already see, I can see it, but more than that, I can feel it. As I'm dragging my whisk through the water, I can feel that it has thickened up. Just give this a nice good stir. Again, I'm making 3 different scents today. So once everything is incorporated, I will go ahead and split this batch off into 3 individual portions and then scent those individually. Now, this is nice now. This is getting nice and thick. All right, let's go ahead and get our oil portion in there before the water portion cools down too much, and then we wind up with little chunkies, which isn't impossible to blend out, but it's not ideal. All right, oil portion with all of our emulsifiers and butters and all that other good stuff into the pool. All right, we'll start mixing this with our spatula at first, and then we're going to get in here with our hand mixer. I do not color my body butters, by the way. I leave them au naturel. Whatever color it's going to be from the herbs that I have infused in the water portion, that's what it's going to be. I usually do, and you guys have seen me do this before on the channel, rose hips, which is beautiful. It's a shame it doesn't stay that way because it's such a beautiful light pink when you infuse your water with the rose hips. And then I will use chamomile, and like today, I'm doing the calendula petals. So you can already see that this is getting thick. But we need to get in here and actually get this emulsified. Right now, I'm just mixing it around. But this is not, you know, emulsifying. All right, let's take a temp and see if we're good to go with our preservative. Okay, we're at 118, so yes, we are good to go to add our preservative. Liquid Germel Plus. And there you go. This is a huge batch, mind you. It might look like I just put a lot in there, but this is a really huge batch. All right, let's get back in there. All right. What I like to do now is just let this sit here for a few minutes and let these air bubbles calm down and kind of dissipate a little bit. Still quite warm to the touch. And obviously it's going to get much more thick than this once it cools completely down. All right, I'm gonna let this go ahead and cool down just a little bit more, and then we'll come back for a final blend. Let's get back in here for one final whisk. All right, that is just going to do it. Scrape the sides down. We'll portion these off into 3 equal portions. Then I will scent those, and we'll get them into the jars. I've already got my scents weighed out. Let's start off with our white ginger and amber and get that in there. Hold, please. You can see how nice and thick this is getting now as it's starting to cool down. It's getting that nice texture which comes from adding that xanthan gum. Oh my God, this smells unbelievable, you guys. You ever tried white ginger and amber? I'm telling you what, in a body butter, it is fantastic. Between this and the cocoa butter cashmere, those are my two most popular scents. But people also really, really love the rice, flour, and shea as well. Just gonna give this a nice good stir, make sure that that fragrance oil is incorporated well. So you can see the consistency, and it's gonna get thicker than that. Once it completely cools down to room temperature, it's going to be even better than that. This is more like a nice thick lotion, but it's going to get really nice. Okay, so what I usually do is I have one of these little contraptions. You can get these at any craft store. You can get them online at Amazon. It's great for filling lotion bottles and jars and so forth. So I usually fill that. Got my jars all ready to go, all sanitized. So I just put a little bit in here. Just makes it easier and a little less messy to fill your bottles and jars. I'll just do one. You can see how thick this is getting. So I'm gonna let gravity help me along the way here. I probably won't even use this actually going forward, filling up the rest of them, because this is cooling down pretty nice right now, and so it is getting quite thick. So I'm not even going to need this going forward. Yeah, definitely not even going to need this. My husband called in the middle of me waiting for those bubbles and everything to cool down, so I let it get a little bit more cool than I would like when I'm ready to start pouring. It is easier to pour when it's a little bit more warm than this, but that's okay. We're still making this work. Okay, so I usually like for it to be 9 ounces in the jar. It's reading 9.2, which is perfectly fine. Okay. There you go, you guys. There is our emulsified body butter. It is beautiful. I probably will wait until tomorrow to do the ending of the video so you can see what the final consistency looks like after it has sat overnight and really come to room temperature and has cooled down completely, so you guys can see the texture of it, okay? So we'll see you tomorrow.
The next day.
Okay, you guys, as promised, it is the next day, and I want to show you guys what the consistency and texture is of the body butter that we made yesterday. This is just going to be used to continue refilling all of our sample jars out at events. As you can see, it doesn't fill up the entire container. That's what I had left, but this is the consistency of it. It's beautiful. It's silky, it's creamy. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It's just a really, really beautiful consistency. It's not greasy. It's not tacky. It's just beautiful. And this one is scented with the white ginger and amber. Oh man, it's just really delightful, you guys. So there you go. There's our emulsified body butter. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, share, do all those little YouTube-y things. You're going to be able to find this recipe in the members section of the channel as well as on Patreon. And then we do put in the short form PDF up for sale on the website, soap-chef.com, as well as Etsy, Soap Chef Molds. I got to get rolling. I've got to make some magnesium butter. I've got to make shower steamers. But until we meet again, Be kind and stay humble. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.